And this is Good News with Dick Baumbach. Hey, Dick, how you doing today?
I am doing great as we get ready to share some good news with the world.
You know, you sent me some really good headlines here, and one of these headlines is near and dear close to my heart. And we'll kick it off with that one first, and it's about Yankees fan loses a ring during an in-game proposal at Yankee Stadium. What is that all about?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that we're now getting people sending us good news suggestions. And this one and the next one came from a guy you might know. His name is Ron Baumbach, and he has that show called The Last Walk. Okay, so here we go.
I'm glad for people watching out for us.
Well, this is a young couple. This is about a week and a half ago. They were both in Yankee jerseys. His name is Andrew Fox. Her name is Heather Terwilliger. And they were watching the game, and he had set up that midway between the winning of the 6-4 win over the Red Sox, that the camera would focus on him as he proposed to his girlfriend in front of everybody, and it was on the screen, the big screen.
Wow.
And everybody went, wow, except something happened. He lost the ring. And everybody in the
You can't make that stuff up.
No. And everybody in the stadium started getting on their hands and knees, and nobody could find it. And then they kept back to the game, and they kept looking, and people were just emotional. And all of a sudden, Heather reached down, and in the cuff of her pants was the ring.
No.
Yes.
You can't even write that script.
Yes. And so the cameras went back to them, and they have a shot of him proposing. And by the way, she said yes.
Oh, wow.
She apologized for losing the ring.
Well, to stay right in line with the love affairs, I guess you would call it, the next one you have is a stranger's selfless gift leads to love.
Yeah, this is in Frankfort, Illinois. And by the way, this story originally was on CBS News.
Really?
Yeah, so they're listening to us.
Yes,
Jeff.
they've got to be. They've got to be getting the message.
So what happened is several years ago, Heather Kruger, she's 27 years old, she was diagnosed with stage 4 liver disease. And they told her she had a few months to live. And so they said she would need a transplant. So what she did, they put out the word, and somebody put up a sign at the city hall at Frankfurt, and Chris Dempsey, a code enforcement officer for the village of Frankfurt, he happened to see the sign, and he said, I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, and I learned never to run away from anything. So I said, hey, if I can help, I'll check out. So he went, he got himself checked, and he was a perfect match.
He was a donor.
He was a donor.
Wow.
So they had lunch together. They discussed the process. And then they checked into the University of Illinois Hospital. And the transplant went off well. Half of his liver was donated to her. And they remained close. So close that this past weekend, she had a wedding gown on, and her groom was Chris.
Wow, that is a great story.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, that really is. You know, I just saw another story about a donor, and it was a school teacher. I think it was the school. No, it was the mom needed a kidney, and they're all sitting at this table. They showed on the news. They're all sitting at the table and they're talking about it, and the school teacher's asking her and all, and it winds up. The school teacher was a perfect match for the donation of the kidney. And she gave, it was like, wow. They'll bring tears to your eyes. So the next one, there's so many jokes that I can make about this next one.
I know.
I have fallen and can't get up. An 87-year-old rescued after 4 days in a bathtub thanks to concerned waitress. Now, this didn't have anything to do with those commercials where the two people are sitting in bathtubs.
No. This lady, by the way, is very clean now. Because after 4 days in the bathtub, what happened is Dory Mann always makes regular visits to Tomasi's Cafe. And this Tomasi's Cafe, a lady named Sonia who works there, Sonia Congrave, she suddenly wasn't showing up. And this was unusual. So what she did is she went to her house and knocked on the doors, couldn't get anything, called the police department. They broke in, and Doreen had gotten into the bathtub and couldn't get out because she had had a medical issue. Mm-hmm. But she was alive, and she kept putting her towel over her to keep her warm. The police department said if it wasn't for Sonia, this lady would not be alive today.
Wow. I mean, did Sonia go and get her a medical alert?
Well, that's funny you say that. That's what they did. The restaurant, the cafe, bought her a first alert.
Oh, wow. You know, a few years ago, my wife was working at a place, and her boss didn't show up a couple of days. And he was a guy that was normally always there, always, on time and what have you. So she called me up and she said, let's go by his house and see if he's okay. So we go by his house. The doors are open. There's beers sitting on the counter. And I went through the whole house. He wasn't there. The police show up, and he had fallen into the pool and was under the pool cover and had drowned. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And, these things really do happen.
Yeah,
they really do. So the next one is about a man walking 10 hours for work every day, given a sweet surprise from his coworkers.
Yeah. Now, as you know,
roller skates.
As you know, I walk about 5 hours to get here.
Yeah, but you do that. You get here on a skateboard,
right? But this gentleman, he works at Ruby Tuesdays. His name is Kevin Finley, and he's in Mentor, Ohio. Well, what happened is he basically wasn't able to find another job when they shut down the original Ruby Tuesdays. So he worked at a branch which was 9 miles from his home. He didn't tell anybody, but because he didn't have a car, every day he would walk the 9 miles one way to work, walk the 9 miles back to work. And all of a sudden, his coworkers found out about it, and they gathered together, and they put together a GoFundMe page and raised over $8,000 to give this dedicated man.
Oh, wow.
And he has now passed his state exam to get his license, but hasn't passed his road test yet. But he says that he's going to buy a truck, get auto insurance, and be driving, and he is so grateful to these people.
Wow. I thought it was going to be more on the lines that he got a reduction in his insurance because he was so healthy from walking every day.
That's true. I never thought of it that way. But no, but I mean,
I couldn't imagine walking 10 miles every day
each
way to work. I just couldn't. No, I couldn't.
We're going to check you.
So we're almost to the end. What do you have for us next week?
Well, this is really one of those stories that people really help each other. And it's a mom packing lunches for her son because after he notices one person not eating everything.
I saw that. I won't give it up. Okay, so you've got to tune in next week for this amazing story. It really is an amazing story that he has just queued up for us. This has been Good News with Dick Baumbach.